Alright guys, so you can see we have a lot of stuff here today, so I'm not even going to bother listing everything, but I'm just going to jump right into them. Alright, so I guess we'll just get started with this whole bunch of stickers here. Right on top here is a SpeedCubeShop logo, which looks really nice. Here are some Wailong Square 1 stickers. So a lot of people ask what my color scheme is, and I use mainly Half Brights and Azure Blue. But I do switch around my blues from time to time, like Sky Blue and Azure Blue. Another SpeedCubeShop logo here. And here I have a few 3x3 singles. Now I will be using these for a mod, which I will make a video on soon, but yeah, just stay tuned for that. This one is just a Valk 3 single in floral orange, just because I really cannot stand the stock floral orange that comes on cubes nowadays. And this one here is a full fitted M3 set, which looks really nice. Here is a full fitted Mei Chen Cube set. Yeah, that looks really cool as well. And the last set I have here is just a full fitted Wushuang set, which looks perfectly cut. So yeah, I'll definitely be using those really soon. Alright, so getting into the puzzles now. This one is a Dian Sheng case cube, which is another 3x3 shape mod. And I think the only real reason I get so many shape mods is because they're really the only ones I can solve without needing a tutorial. And so this one looks pretty trippy. It looks kind of like a Fisher cube type thing, but you can't really turn these extensions, and it just turns like a 3x3. So yeah, that moves really well, super fast, really swishy. Let's see what a checkerboard looks like on this thing. Alright, and so yeah, that looks pretty cool. It's gonna be hard for me especially to just imagine where the actual 3x3 mech is, because we have all these extensions here and there. So I'll definitely just have to get used to, you know, holding this thing and knowing where I can turn. But you know, right off the bat, looks like a super fun puzzle, so I'll definitely have a fun time solving this thing. Alright, so following along with the non-WCA theme, we'll just go on to this Master Pyraminx from Shengshao. And so I did used to have a Professor Pyraminx from Mefferts, but I technically didn't know how to solve it really. This one looks really cool. It's not pillowed, as you can see, and so it feels definitely a lot nicer and a little bit more stable than the Mefferts. But turning it, yeah, that is really smooth. Really nice, actually. And so you can also mix it up like a Jing's Pyraminx here. But all these layers are really smooth, so that should definitely provide for a really enjoyable solve. And I honestly don't really know how to go about solving this thing. I just know you use a reduction, but I guess I'll just mess around with it and see what I can come up with, and if need be, I'll just go tutorial. So if you're really into non-WCA puzzles, I would definitely recommend taking a look at this thing. It feels super high quality. Alright, so getting into the actual puzzles that I know how to solve, this one is a Valk 3 in black. Alright, and so finally got the cover off. Here is the cube, and of course the pamphlet and all the extra goodies it comes with. And if you want to check out what the goodies are, you can check out my original unboxing on the Valk. And so I decided to get a black one to magnetize and all that good stuff. Just because I do think I recognize better on black cubes, even though I like the feeling of stickerless cubes. And so yeah, just a Valk, it feels really nice. Pretty much just an upgraded Yushao to me. So I honestly don't know what my 3x3 main is right now, but the Valk 3 is definitely a contender. And so I'll magnetize this thing and just see how it turns out. But even without magnets, the Valk 3 is just super nice. So if you're looking to upgrade your mains or collection a bit, then definitely look into getting the Valk 3. And so next up is the Shengshao Aurora Megaminx. Definitely one of my favorite Megaminxes after the Galaxy. Really nice budget price to it, but it feels super high quality. It just performs amazing. So I've got one in black here. This one actually turns a lot better than my white one did out of the box. It feels a little bit more smooth and a little bit faster. And I guess it is a little bit looser too, but overall it feels really nice. So the Galaxy Megaminx is definitely my main, but I have another reason for getting another Aurora Megaminx, which I will have a later video on. But if you're a beginner or just someone that doesn't have a really nice Megaminx, then the Shangsha Aurora is definitely one to check out. It has a really affordable price tag, but the performance is just top of the line. Alright, so I did get 2 Cosmic Cubes in this order. We have the Weilong GTS and the Tanglong, and so I'll just get started with the Tanglong here. This was my main for quite a bit, but with all these cubes coming out these days, the Tanglong just didn't really do it for me. So here it is, re-stickered with my shades, Half Brights, and Azure Blue. And it has a really cool cosmic logo on there that looks super awesome. But I guess we'll just get into the turning of this thing. Wow, yeah, that is... You know, I really didn't expect it to be this fast just out of the box. With imagining the lube that must have been put in here, I thought it would be a little bit more gummy and would need a little bit more break-in time. But you know, this feels really nice. You know, it's fast, but it's also fairly controllable. I don't know what I did there, but the tensions do seem fairly even, so that's really nice. Corner cutting is really effortless to do. So even though this cube has already been lubed, I can still tell that it needs a little bit more break-in time, just to get the pieces a little bit worn in and, you know, put together a little bit. So yeah, I'm definitely really happy with the cosmic surface on the Tanglong so far, but we'll just see how the Weilong GTS turns out. And so they do put it back in the packaging, and it looks like it's taped back up again. And so of course these break-in tools. And so I decided to get in gray just because I've never had a gray cube before. And so the stickers look really perfectly placed on there. I got Half Brights and Azure Blue again. And of course that really cool looking cosmic logo on there. And I guess we'll just go into the turns. Alright, so this one definitely feels a little bit more gummy than the Tanglong. But wow, that is super, super smooth. Wow, that is really, really nice. Definitely way better than any of the Weilong GTSs that I've set up. So with the past Weilong GTSs that I've set up myself, they've come out to be really crispy and super bumpy, but this one is really, really smooth, which I much prefer. It's smooth and fast, but it's also fairly controllable too. Corner cutting, of course, is really, really great. Tensions seem fairly even too. But wow, I'll definitely have to see how this thing breaks in. And if anything, I may need to see how I recognize on gray cubes, because right now this thing is really nice out of the box and definitely a contender for my main. So yeah, I can definitely say that the Cosmic Cube service is well worth it. It includes re-stickering, lubing, tensioning, and I believe it also comes with a warranty of some kind. Like after 6 months or so, if it doesn't feel as good as you initially got it, then you can just send it back for free, and then they'll, you know, reservice it and all that good stuff. But based on the first impressions of these cubes, I'll definitely have to look into getting some of the other models that they have. Alright, so getting down into the last few cubes, we have the Qi Wu Chui 4x4 and the Wu Hua 6x6. So I'm a little bit more excited for the Wu Chui, so I would save that for last, and we'll see how the 6x6 is. And so I've definitely heard good things about it, but you know, it's kind of a hit or miss is what I've heard. So we'll just see how mine turns out, I guess. Alright, so here is the cube. It feels a little bit heavier for some reason. But in regards to the size, it's definitely bigger than the Yushin Red, but I think it's slightly smaller than the Weishi GTS. Alright, so I guess we'll just go into the performance of this thing. Wow. Those outer layers feel really, really nice. Yeah, it feels kind of like a more gummed up Wushuang. It feels a little bit sluggish, and it's honestly not that fast, but it's super, super smooth. Whoa, that is really loose, so I'll definitely have to mess around with the setup on this thing. But I'm really loving these outer layers so far. They move independently from the inner layers super easily, which I really like on big cubes. And yeah, I can tell 3x3 stage is gonna feel super nice. The outer layers just feel really reliable. So it seems like the inner layers can pop pretty easily, at least on these tensions so far. So I'll see how it is after some setting up, but I really can't give a verdict on the cube quite yet. So out of the box, it's definitely a lot better than the Moyu Weishi GTS, but it still has a few problems of its own. It's kind of sluggish. Tensions are fairly loose, which could be the cause of these inner layer pops. But I'll mess around with it and just see how it gets. But, you know, so far, not a bad cube at all. Alright, so down to the last puzzle, the Chi Wu Chui 4x4. Now, I've heard that there are a few batches of this, so I'm not really sure which one this is, but I'm hoping it's the better one at least. And so here is the cube. We'll just go into the turning. Wow, that is amazing. Definitely really dry like the Wushuang 5x5, but this feels really nice. This cube is probably the closest 4x4 that can perform nearly as good as a 3x3. It just feels really reliable and super stable, but it also goes pretty fast when you want it to. Yeah, corner cutting doesn't seem to be a problem, but out of the box, definitely a lot better than the Yushin Blue. Even with a spring swap, this one feels a lot more stable, and it doesn't feel like any of these pieces are gonna pop really easily or anything like that. So first impressions, I honestly can't really say anything bad about this cube. I guess the only gripe I'm gonna have with it is the size. It's 62mm, but I'm used to having the smaller size of the Yushin Blue 4x4. So I guess I'll just have to break it in and, you know, just see how familiar I get with it, and I'll just see how it goes from there. But the performance itself is really, really nice. So if you're looking for a new 4x4 to upgrade to, definitely get the Wu Chui. Alright, so that about does it for this relatively large unboxing from SpeedCubeShop.com. And when you do place an order from them, don't forget to use my code TCCubes to get 10% off your entire order. And if you have any further questions about any of the cubes in this order, then feel free to leave them in the comments below. But I hope you guys did enjoy this unboxing, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.